Replacing the front glass and door switch assembly. Next step is to remove the computer bezel. For later model ovens like this one that have a solid plastic bezel, loosen off these two bolts here, but do not remove them completely as they will be difficult to realign. Loosen these two bolts off and we can pry this panel up, grab the actual plastic bezel and that will click up and come off. For ovens with the older style of bezel, remove the 4 screws, 2 on each side, and the bezel then can be taken forward and have the wiring removed. Once these 2 bolts have been loosened, we can push the bezel up, bring it forward and remove the wiring on the back. All the wiring on the back are on harness connectors and can be unplugged. Using an M3 Allen key, remove these 2 screws. Then you can loosen off the switch locking nut. That will allow this bracket and switch assembly to come directly up. Loosen off the locking ring and the bracket should come up. Remove the bottom glass retaining cap. Do this by removing the 2 screws underneath the bottom. You'll need a 4mm Allen key to do this. The front glass panel is held to the oven with fire sealant. This is a paste that never properly cures, so it is quite easy to use a Stanley knife between the glass and the oven, run down one side and peel the glass panel back. This is the termination strip for the right hand side door switch. Some of the earlier model ovens used a Molex style plug. If your oven has a Molex style plug, please cut it off and use a strip style connection when replacing the door switch. If you are replacing a door switch on an oven that has a Molex plug like this one, it is important to note that the 2 common wires are joined together and go into one single terminal, and you'll have a door top and a door bottom wire. Also, if your oven has these switches that are white, these switches have proven to be inferior quality, and if the oven has these need to be replaced. Using a 10mm spanner, you can undo the nuts and remove the door switch bracket. We can then undo the terminals from the terminal strip, pull the wiring through, then replace with the new door switch assembly, ensuring that the wires go back into their correct position. Cable tie the harness back. This will prevent the wiring from fouling with the cooling fan. Please ensure that the cooling fan spins freely. Loosely refit the bottom glass bracket into position. We can now slide the glass in and up to the oven. It will not be necessary to put any more silicone sealant onto the glass panel, as the original sealant is semi-permanent and will adhere to the oven as it was previously. After replacing a door switch or door switch receiver, it is critically important that they are lined up accurately. If we close the oven door, we can see that the bottom of the switch and the top of the switch must line up perfectly with the receiver at the top and receiver at the bottom. These two must align up and down. The same applies for the in and out adjustment. As we close the oven door, that must line up perfectly flush between the receiver to the switch across this plane. And the gap between the receiver and the sender should be around 2 millimeters. We can adjust the door magnets in and out by using the slots behind these screws to adjust in and out. We can check door switch operation also by using the computer. Tap on Settings. Tap on Diagnostics. Enter the PIN. Once in Diagnostics, we can come and actually see door top and door bottom. This refers to the top and bottom switch on the right hand side. Currently the door is open, so we're seeing 3.7 and 3.7 volts. This is the circuit voltage that should be present when the door is open. If I close the oven door, I can see that this immediately jumps to between 23 and 24 volt. This is indicating that both of the right hand door switches are working. It's the same story for the left hand side. Open and close the door several times before leaving site, making sure that the switch doesn't go out of adjustment and that we are always getting this between 23 to 24 volt reading.